All right, so what do palm trees, Buffalo Bill, and Orangevale have in common? Well, today we're going to talk about that. I'm Mark Ehring with On the Trail in Orangevale, and we are at the corner of Pecan and Greenback today for a plaque dedication on one of our historic homes, the Calder Mansion, here on my right. Now, this was the second home that the Calders built. The original home was built across the street and was mentioned in a lot of newspaper articles as the Palms. But today, when you look across the street, we have a gas station, the Orbit gas station, built in 1963. So, what happened? And what's the story of William Calder and Orangevale? Let's find out today. William Calder was born in Scotland, and as a young boy, he ended up moving with his parents to the United States, to North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, he went to a military academy, and this was right before the Civil War. So guess what? When the Civil War started, he threw in his lot with the Confederates and served throughout the Civil War, and was, of course, not injured or anything like that. So it was good for him. After the Civil War, his family moved to Chicago. Unfortunately, a few years after they moved to Chicago, there was a big fire. You might have heard of the Great Fire in Chicago, the Great Chicago Fire. They lost everything. But while he was in Chicago, he started learning about acting. He really enjoyed the theater. And this became a career for him, which was just amazing for him to be able to travel and meet people and do new things. I have a photo here in costume of William in one of his roles. This was in the basement of the house we're in right now. We are so thankful that it was saved over 100 years that it's been in this house, and we were able to show it to you today. But here he is in costume. He traveled all over the world, mostly in the United States originally, but he met his first wife, Alfie Chippendale, a widow of the Civil War, in Missouri. They married. They moved around some more, did theater, and then they eventually left for London and did some England touring. While they were there, they met a lady named Alice Finch. And Alice Finch joined their group, and they did theater in London, Manchester, and whatnot. Well, Alfie ended up dying suddenly at a younger age, and when that happened, soon after, Alice Finch and William Calder married, and she became Mary Calder at that point in time. And they did theater all throughout London, Manchester. They stayed there for quite a while. The interesting hook with Wild Bill Cody is when they were in Manchester, Buffalo Bill brought his entire group into London. They did the big exhibition with Victoria, Queen Victoria. On their next stop was Manchester. William Calder was one of the managers of the huge event they did in Manchester. They became great friends, and they had business partners for quite a while, and that's the relationship. We have rumors that Buffalo Bill actually visited William in Orangevale when he retired here back in the day. So we have him traveling around. One of the successful plays that he came up with in London was called The Span of Life. And this was a really successful production there in London, so he took it on the road. He went to the United States, he traveled all around. He ended up in Sacramento. And in Sacramento, in 1893, he found out about the Orangevale Colonization Company. And that's where he decided to buy 20 acres originally and build a retirement home. So William, he was finishing up his theater productions in the early 1890s. He purchased the lots, and he was having a house built for their retirement. This was going to be an extravagant building that was really impressive for the day, a Queen Anne Victorian. He planted palm trees. They had it all prepared for them in 1897 when they chose to get off the road and finally settle down and grow roots in Orangevale. He became a gentleman farmer with orange groves throughout the area. They lived in that house for about 10 years, and Mary Alice, the rumor is, didn't like the big extravagant house. She wanted something a little smaller, so they built a house across the street, and in 1907 they moved into this house. And at the time where we're sitting is, this was an open porch. This has all been closed in for the restaurants that have been in here. We had a lot of different renovations that have happened, but in 1963, as you see across the street, we had the gas station take the place of the Queen Anne. They tore it down, and we had the modern jet age take over there. This house is still standing, but it's gone through a lot of different changes. We've had restaurants, we've had boarding houses, and now it's a church. Pathway Fellowship Church has been using it since about 2019. So it's an amazing piece of Orangevale history and part of our community. The Calders moving into Orangevale, they didn't just move in to retire. They really dug in to build community. And William dug in with the Orangevale Water Company, doing theater works to fundraise. Mary also did that. She was part of the Country Life Club that was started, became the Orangevale Women's Club. There were so many things they were involved with to make this community better. And it shows there was just so much love they had for their new rooted location had they been on the road all this time. So what I want you to think about is, what could you do for your community to make it better? Can you invest something and make your talents valuable for folks in your area? If you're in Orangevale, we'd love to have you join our group, the Orangevale History Project, or one of our other community organizations. If you're elsewhere, I encourage you to get involved, see what's available to you to make a big difference for people around you. With that, it's Mark Gehring signing off with On the Trail in Orangevale.